It is currently 4:11 in the morning. Why am I up so early? I cannot tell you. I just feel like I've been buzzing with excitement lately. So I tried to go to sleep early. Then I ended up waking up twice, and then I was just like, okay, clearly I just gotta do something, take some action or whatever. And I decided, hey, why not just let me do my podcast? So here we are. What is up, you guys? My name is Elijah. You can call me Lay. And welcome back to another episode of A Little Atypical. As you can tell from the title, we are talking about glowing up. If you're listening from my YouTube channel, you probably know that I started posting again this week, and the content I'm focusing on is lifestyle design. But that doesn't mean I don't want to talk about all things glow up and beauty and stuff like that. But I figured it would be at least easier for me to communicate about it through my podcast, which is why I decided, okay, instead of doing what I was originally going to do, I'll save that for a blog post and I'll just do something else that I'm really excited to talk about. To start off, one thing I'm grateful for. The first thing I'm mainly grateful for this week is honestly low key the internet, in the sense of I feel like the internet, it does have its bad moments, but I'm also grateful that there's a lot of positive sides to it too. And I also like there's so much we can learn and how we can observe things. And I feel like even the internet feels like dystopian sometimes, I feel like it can also make us conscious. Yeah, that's what I'm grateful for this week. I'm not doing a card pull this episode because I've been home. There has been nothing to really report about. I haven't been in my social era. I've been kind of in my do not disturb era. Nothing to report because usually I would say something else about a highlight of the week and a growth area of the week. But since there hasn't been much to report, I'm also not doing that this episode. And honestly, I kind of just want to jump right in because I'm so excited to talk about this for ways to glow up in 2024. This episode is all about the mental glow up, and I'm going to do a physical glow up next. I feel like we have to start with the mental. The first thing I came up with for your mental glow up is having a positive self concept. I've been really into the idea of self concept lately. It's been a while that I've been super into it. I've been on Pinterest. I literally have a board dedicated to hot girl mindset because if you type up self concept, there are like these images. Like one of them is like, I'm too pretty to be tolerating negative energy. And some are like, I love being surrounded by health, wealth, happiness, and prosperity. I am a work of art. Woke up sexy AF again. As you could tell, like some of them are like very calm and tame, and then some of them are like a little sassy, and it just brings the vibes. The best way I can describe self concept is it's essentially your mindset and your belief system. How I think about it is there's no comparison involved. It's just simply your beliefs about life, about yourself, and how you perceive things. If you believe in things like the law of attraction or the law of assumption, you have to have a good mindset to go with that. So I've been really working on my self concept lately. And two tips I have, well, I have a few tips. So the first tip is be very cautious of how you describe yourself. I remember seeing like a TikTok, and it was from someone I follow, and they reposted it, and basically it was like, is anyone else in like their loser era where they got nothing going on in life, you know? And the thing is, I feel like it's so important that we have like honest discussion and honest feelings, but I feel like we can do that without calling, like, for example, ourselves a loser. There are ways to describe it, like you're just like floating. Like that's what I like to use for myself now, is when I feel like things are just very still and calm. I don't even like to say that I'm stuck in a rut. I don't like saying I'm stuck. I don't like saying I'm in a loser era. I like to either say I'm either in my rest and recharge era, that I'm just floating right now, because if you say those things, you're just taking a step back, you're resting, you're charging. And then the other one is like, if you're floating, I think you are at a state of calm and peace. When you're floating, it's kind of like things are moving, but you're not recognizing it. You're moving very slowly. It feels like you're staying still, but in reality, you're not. You just can't see it. You can't recognize the micro movements. So I think that's very important, very interesting. That's one of the first tips I have, is be very cautious of your words. Like, if you're a college student, please don't call yourself a broke college student. Don't associate yourself with broke, even if you are underfunded, because a lot of times I was underfunded. Next tip for improving your self concept is something I've been really liking lately, is listening to subliminals. So this is going to sound kind of weird, kind of crazy. If you don't want to listen to subliminals because they're not personalized enough, you can always make your own. But basically, what a subliminal is, it's like it has affirmations in the background that's like repeating on a cycle. It's turned down low enough that you can't necessarily make out what they're saying, and a lot of times it's like at high speed. Then there's either like music on top of it that gives you like that energy, or it's something more calming like a rain sound. And to add, I guess, extra initiative, sometimes people add like certain visuals as a video, and I don't know what it is about it. I just feel more motivated, and I made it part of like my nightly routine to listen to subliminals. I think it's even more beneficial to make your own, because I made one and I swear the next day I woke up, I felt light, energetically light. I woke up in such a happy mood. I was just like light and love. It was just vibes. So if you haven't tried it, try it out. It's basically, I don't know, I feel like it's just another way of manifesting. Then my final tip for this is watching motivational content, or people that kind of focus on mindset work. Obviously, with this podcast, I'm personally talking about how I develop my mindset, but there are so many creators out there that I do personally admire that helped me push my mindset forward to something more positive. There will probably be like an updated list of people I like for certain things. Maybe I'll do like a roundup, people I like for like my mindset work, people I like watching for fitness, people I like for food inspo, like things like that. Maybe I'll do a roundup on my blog. These things are so important for developing a healthy, positive self concept. On to my second point, which is developing a gratitude practice. Originally, this was what the episode was going to be on, but since there's so much that goes into it, as I was searching about what I wanted to put in a podcast, I was like, actually, this would make better blog posts, because it has so many health benefits to have a gratitude practice. And there's so many lists you can make and so many different ways you can express gratitude. At least for me, when I like to write my gratitude, but you can write letters, you can think about, you can even turn like negative situations into something more positive. Like, I'm grateful for the lesson you taught me. Because of you, I learned X, Y, and Z. Having a gratitude practice is essential because someone made an interesting point. I think they were indigenous. So they were talking about Thanksgiving, or they referred to it as Turkey Day, but they were saying how that it's strange that they want you to be thankful for one day only. Like, you only one day you gather around and say what you're grateful for. Honestly, yeah, I think that if we took more moments to express gratitude, that we would be more compassionate as human beings, that we wouldn't have certain issues that we're facing today. A big issue with us is overconsumption. The reason why that happens is because we have so much access to other people, and then we go down this like comparison loop, and then we think because of social media validation that we need these things. And that's why certain, I guess, movements get hated on, because they think you need like very specific things to achieve that. I remember loving the that girl aesthetic mindset and everything like that, but then learning how some people hate it because they feel like to be that girl, all it shows is products that are really expensive, that you need to buy this, you need to buy that, you need to look a certain way, you need to be a certain way for it to be that. And it's about living up to a standard. If we were more into our gratitude practice, we would stop aligning ourselves with a fake standard and kind of just do our own thing and appreciate the little things about it. I don't think to be that girl you need all the products. I don't think you need to look a certain way. I don't think it's anything like that. We would think about things like that in a different way instead of comparing ourselves, instead of over consuming. I think that's why a gratitude practice is necessary, that it gives us patience, it gives us empathy. I think it also changes the way we look at things. Sometimes we can be grateful for like even getting up in the morning. We can be grateful for even the things that we think are like not the best. Like, we can be thankful to have homes. We can be thankful for air, sunshine. We can be thankful for our warm drink. We can be thankful for the advancements technology made that made our life easier in some shape or form. Like, for example, a blender. I love smoothies. I'm so grateful blenders exist because I love making smoothies. And it's just like little things like that when you put into perspective. There was a time when I was completely flooded by my anxiety, and because I kept seeing everything wrong, even if I couldn't control it, it made it hard for me. But also, if you have anxiety in some shape or form, or you have a tendency to look to the past a lot or the future, that practicing gratitude is a practice to keep you present. So, for my anxious friends that are just like me, try it out. So, number 3 is self-studying. And when I say this, I don't mean like learning how to study by yourself. I mean study yourself. That means study your core values. And I just did a video on this, shameless plug right here. If you want, I talk about it a bit on my YouTube. The video is supposed to go up, and that is the video I'm editing today. But also, besides your core values, understand your family history, understand your beliefs, both good beliefs and bad beliefs, and if they're even your beliefs, and where did they even come from. Understand your personality, Understand what gives you energy versus what drains you. Understand your interests and hobbies. Understand all the things that make you you. So, one important aspect, at least for me, is limiting my screen time because I feel like when I am consuming too much, I know this is counterproductive to what I said about developing a positive mindset, but you need time where you're not necessarily doing things or looking at things because X person did or whatever. I think limiting screen time can help you with self studying because it gives you time to practice being with yourself. Be silenced with yourself for 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes a day, whichever works for you and how much time you need. And really just get in touch with who you are, not the person people want you to be, who you are. Only you can decide what that really is for you. Make time for you, make time to be with yourself, not with family members, not with friends, not on a screen. Be with yourself. Be comfortable with the things you like. Be comfortable with the things you dislike. Figure out how you work, what makes you tick, and the rest will follow very much easily. Because to know yourself is to develop a process that works for you, a lifestyle that works for you. So if you want to glow up mentally and glow up overall, know yourself. Know that not every video you see about habits will help you glow up. Know that if something is important to you, you can try it. It may work for you, it may not. And also know that not every trending habit idea, productivity idea is meant for you. And it may not work with your process, it may will. You can try it for a bit, but once you realize it doesn't work, you don't have to keep trying it. Be true to thyself. Number 4 is get into the habit of making lists, scheduling, etc. I know that it may seem like I'm telling you to do something which is so counterproductive of like self-studying, but like this one is specifically for if you struggle with time and getting things done in time blindness. Because one thing I noticed is I do not get a lot done, or I get into a state of pausing a lot, thinking, what should I do now? Because I don't have a list. And maybe this is something that won't work for everyone. I feel like if you struggle with your time, you need to start organizing your thoughts a little bit better because I mean, you can have like this massive to-do list, right? And then I got this from a book where they said like have a to-do list, like things you need to do, and then have a must-do list, like things that need to be done that day. And it will help you declutter your mind, declutter your process. This part is about having a system. At least for me, when I do things like, oh, just for the vibes and to go with the flow, like sometimes it works depending on what it is, but a lot of times just going with the flow doesn't give me the results I want, so I can't just go with the flow, you know? It's important to develop your systems, whatever it may be. Maybe it's not list. Maybe it's something else. You can get creative with it, but essentially develop your systems. Last one I'm going to say is use negative emotions to your benefit. So this one may sound weird, especially when the first topics I would say were about being positive and stuff like that. But I also understand that we are human And sometimes we are going to have negative emotions. And if you're just getting into something and you're so used to negative emotions, that that's not going to be something that changes right away. So you kind of need to get in the habit of converting the negative emotions instead of just having them. Because I was listening to a book, I think it was The 12-Week Year is the one I'm currently listening to. The audio said something along the lines of, it was talking about knowledge is power, but if you don't use it, it's kind of useless. I thought that was the most interesting perspective because, as someone who values education and stuff like that as one of their core values, I never really thought about how people can know things but not apply things, and how the execution is more important. And I think the same goes for like emotions, because I feel like emotions come in waves. Sometimes negative emotions are at a low at the bottom, right? And your happiness waves are happening. And I do think that's why we can feel multiple things at once, because we're multidimensional. And emotions are also multidimensional and waves. So when the emotional state is high, the negative emotion state is high, one thing you can do is convert it. Like, one thing I talk about a lot, because I feel like this is a common emotion, is like jealousy. Because I think sometimes people are jealous, and it's not necessarily about the person, and it's not necessarily about their accomplishments. Because I was watching a TikTok, and this person was like, I hate a Me Too person or whatever. So if like they said like, oh, I got a new job, and someone says Me Too, or if they did something that someone says Me Too, whatever. I think that sometimes when we hear like good news for someone, something that's supposed to be positive, and we do feel a tinge of jealousy, whether it's like if your friend got into a relationship, or if they got their job or something like that. It's not necessarily about them, but it's something that you desire. Not necessarily what they're doing, but wanting to feel like, let's say, like, you're not jealous that your friend got a new job, but you're jealous that something is working out for them, and you feel like nothing is working out for you. Sit on that feeling. Do you even know what you want to work out for you? Like, do you know what it is you truly want, instead of just being jealous? And instead of like trying to, I guess, do nothing and stew in like hatred and anger and jealousy, whatever negative emotion you're feeling, use it to figure out why, what is it you want. Because if you're feeling hatred, if you're feeling any negative emotion, there's going to be like a reason for it. I don't think negative emotions just happen. I don't think that people are haters for no reason. I don't think people get jealous for no reason. It's something that's just within them and within you. If you experience those negative emotions, that you just need the self-awareness to figure out, so you can use it to your advantage. So that is all for today. I hope that my rambling made sense. But these have been some of the things I've been doing, or things I've personally experienced, that helped me, I think, improve from just being a person who used to describe themselves as anxious, as a mess, as chaotic, and now I just feel the most content and comfortable with myself that I've ever been. I feel more courageous than I've ever been and just the most myself. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and there will be more to come soon. I'm sorry if this sounded rushed. Honestly, I was just trying not to overdo it, and yeah. And I know this episode is going to be long. So, have a good day, evening, or night. And also, I guess for your journal prompt of the week, I want you to look at this list and kind of think about which one do you need to prioritize the most. Because I know, like, sometimes people give tips and stuff, but if there's one thing on this list that you feel like that you don't do a lot or enough, maybe put it in a ranking order, and then from there you can work through the tips I gave. So, okay, I have to start my day now, and yeah, see you next time. Bye!